Rise and shine, family. Okay, so I know many of you guys have heard of a popular YouTuber, Rose, from the YouTube channel Queen of Kings. She recently came out saying some pretty harsh things about her husband. It seems that she's been working very hard to try and clean some of this up. But I want to break down some of the things that went on, use this as a teaching tool. I hate when this happens. I always say stop going to social media and exposing your business to social media, man. It's only going to destroy the relationship. It's going to destroy the reputation of your marriage, and it's never going to be the same. The person's never going to see you the same. You're going to traumatize your partner. You're going to subject them to judgment from the whole entire world based on how you just described them. It's crazy because they seem to call out all the worst attributes of your character. Most of the time they're making it up. They'll call out your parenting, to how you have sex, to the size of your member, to how much money you have, how much money you had when you met them, the dynamics of the relationship, who paid for what. They'll play the victim if they are the ones who paid. This happens all the time. Either way, we're going to watch the first video where she exposed them, and then I want to look at some of the interview that Tasha K just recently done with her. Tasha K did an amazing job, by the way, okay? So shout out to Tasha K for getting her in there to do an interview. It actually exposed a lot. She's very well knowledgeable in history and things of that nature, which she showed that. Beautiful interview. But no further ado, man, we're going to get into this. Let's see how this first exposure, I'm going to call it public abuse, okay? We keep calling it exposed. It's public abuse, family, but let's get into it.
Up to hit rating because you said he wasn't listening to you.
Is that what happened?
Remember that? Do you remember, Brett? Let's just be very, very honest about it.
Spank boys on the butt.
Yeah, and then the way that I got upset because you almost dropped the baby to hit rating. Let's be real about that. The way that you don't take care of your daughter at all whatsoever. The way that you did not take care of Race for the whole first year of his life. The way that you did not take care of Race for the whole first year of his life. Let's just be very, very, very honest.
Now, the problem with this to me is this is your man. This is who you're with. If you knew all of this and you're still with him, then shame on you. Why now take this to the public because you want the public to look down on him? But you chose to be with this man regardless of all these things. It's so crazy that they think they're tearing you down. But what they're exposing is actually the things that they actually was willing to do right there with you, go through with you. But when they're mad at you, this is how it happens. Let's continue.
Let's be honest, Brett. What have you really, really done? I'm sitting here silent, talking to Alan while you're yelling. Let's be honest about it. Rose paid for every single aspect of your life, Brett. You literally did not have anything before. Let's be honest about that.
Now, I want you guys to flip the script as you hear her denigrating her husband. I want you guys to imagine this was on the reverse. Imagine it's a man while his wife is holding their child. He's in a camera saying, you wasn't shit when I met you, right? And you ain't gonna be shit without me, right? You ain't done shit in this relationship. You ain't have no money. All you do is we got your hand out asking for something. Like, just imagine this. Everything that she says right now, I want you to imagine a man doing this to a woman, and maybe then that will expose the fact that this is clearly abuse. Okay? Let's continue.
You were 32 years old, living in somebody's basement on a mattress. Didn't even have a bed. Only on a mattress. You moved into my luxury apartment with me. You was asked.
So you met a man who was living in someone's basement on a mattress. You chose him anyway. He did not show you signs that he was financially dependent, that he was disciplined, that he could handle his own life, and you chose this man. But now when the relationship doesn't work out, you want to call out that he was living in somebody's basement at 32 years old, but you knew that before you chose him. This is unreal. Let's continue.
You were asking me, hey, come. Oh my God, you are a liar. You were asking me, hey, come to my house, and I felt uncomfortable to come to your house because you lived in the ghetto. Let's be honest. What are you talking about?
I didn't want to spend all
Yo,
my
let's
money
just
on
be
these
very,
guys.
very honest about it. Like, let's stop lying.
I had no problem
Remember
paying
all you're like, oh yeah, I beat women. That's why none of my relationships in the past have worked.
Exactly what I'm
Remember the closet door at our house is broken. Why? Because you put a hole in it.
Wow. So now she's painting him to be aggressive, to be an abuser in his past relationships. I mean, and it seems that this is what happens. Let's dig into the past and essentially cry over spilled milk. Let's bring up all these different things in the past where you was 32 living in a basement. You didn't pay for this. You didn't pay for that. You lived in the ghetto when I first met you. I didn't want to come to your house. In your past relationships, you admitted you were abusive, and this is why your relationships didn't work out. Remember that door with the hole in it. You're the one put that hole in it. What's wrong right now? What are you guys going through right now? Because you put up with all of this stuff. You accepted him even though he admitted to you he was abusive in his last relationships, right? So all this has happened. What's the problem right now? Because you guys, let's just talk about everything that I feel you've ever done wrong and purposefully neglect all of the positive things, because there's got to be a reason why you chose the guy. But this is how it happens, family. And you can hear him in the background trying to defend himself to the best of his ability, but she's over talking. I really can't make out what he's saying. But I'm going to point out in a few what this does to the victim of this, okay? To the victim of this type of abuse. Let's continue.
Let's be honest about that. Oh, I should snap your fucking neck right now, but you're too quick to call the police. Let's be honest about that. Let's be very honest. Remember in Iowa, you literally have a police report because you did what?
That's not true.
You did what? Yes, you did. Why did they take the gun in Iowa? Move. Get away from me. Get away from me. Don't come near me at all whatsoever. Yeah, don't come near me because let's not come near me. Yeah, you're angry because I made a flight for me back.
See, she's not allowing him to say anything. She wants to be the only one here doing the bashing. When he tries to explain some things, she's over talking. But I'm going to point this out. If there's ever a time where he got so angry, if this is true, where he said, I would snap your neck, but you quick to call the police, that's absolutely wrong. And I know potentially he didn't just come out and say that. Things are going great. And he just goes, you know what? I'd snap your neck. No, I'll guarantee you guys were in a heated argument and he felt disrespected. But listen, men, got to have more stoicism than that. The moment you start saying things like that, whether or not you are being disrespected, it traumatizes them. It teaches them that hitting is an option, okay? It makes them face this reality that they can be injured or assaulted by you. And even if they tend to let it go, they hold on to it. As you can see, she's bringing it up now. And they'll weaponize this thing against you. That moment, it will be weaponized against you, that threat. That you saying that thing that you think is going to explain to her how angry you are, how disrespected you feel. It's actually going to make her feel abused and victimized, and likely it'll come out later like it's happening right now. So while she's doing all that disrespect, handling it straight on with threats and yelling and things of that nature and insults right back doesn't help us either for a leader of a family. Number one, your children get to see all this too, and they'll believe that this is how you behave when someone's disrespecting you, right? And so you're going to create another cycle. So unfortunately, men, we can't fight fire with fire as leaders. We got to figure out a way to handle this without getting emotional with them, okay? But let's continue.
Iowa, you literally have a police report because you did what?
That's not true.
You did what? Yes, you did. Why did they take the gun in Iowa? Move. Get away from me. Get away from me. Don't come near me at all whatsoever. Yeah, don't come near me because let's not come near me. Yeah, you're angry because I made a flight for me back.
He's pointing out that she's an emotional terrorizer. He's saying every time you get upset, you hop on the gram, you hop online, and you do this. All right? So obviously he's pointing out her abusive traits and her past abusive qualities as well, right? So look, if he's abusive, both of you guys are. But again, he knew this already too. Okay, now he's doing this in defense. He's not the one holding the camera. And dadgummit, man, a person got to fight back a little bit, you know. But everything that you say while she's live, the public is also going to remember. So you're helping to destroy your family. It's best to just let her talk. And that sounds crazy because that's going to be hard to do. But Men don't help destroy your families, okay? All right, let's continue.
To Arizona, you got angry because I made a flight back to Arizona. So you start going crazy, yelling because I made a flight back to Arizona. Okay, what does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you? What the heck? I literally told you I don't want to do this. You go crazy and then you
and make us fuck.
yeah. Okay. So you go crazy. I tell you I don't want to do the internet, and then you get angry that I don't want to. I mean, I was not getting on live. I was sitting quietly while you were yelling and yelling and yelling and going crazy. Do you remember? I was sitting here silently. And you were going about that. Let's be about your daughter. How I've been deleting comments whenever people say that you're a deadbeat. Let's be honest about that. Let's be honest about your daughter. You went to Minnesota or whatever your baby mother is from, and you've been nothing but a deadbeat to your daughter. You knew your daughter. You knew where she was. You did not try at all whatsoever. Let's be honest about the fact that I'm the one that made you see. I'm the one that made you see your daughter. Let's be honest about the fact that when I met you, you was lying about the fact that you had a daughter. Let's not. Do you want me to share your text messages with your baby mother of you being beyond disrespectful to her? I'm being beyond. And I was telling you, don't be disrespectful to her. And I was writing her very respectfully. I'm the reason that you just seen her. I'm the reason that you seen her and that she met Ray Scott. Let's be honest about that. Let's be honest about the fact that you are a literal how angry I got when I found out that you can't see that little girl, and I told you to go and get a lawyer and go fight for your daughter.
Okay,
literally.
So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get into some of the Tasha K interview, but there's some things I want to highlight first, just based on this first clip. Okay, number one, this is about 4 different types of abuse. Okay, so the first one is emotional abuse. Okay, publicly shaming and humiliating someone, especially a spouse, can severely damage their self-esteem, their emotional well-being. It involves making your partner feel worthless, belittled, and undermined. Psychological abuse. Okay, this type of behavior can create an environment of fear, anxiety, and helplessness. The husband or whoever the victim of this treatment is, may feel constantly judged, attacked, or unable to defend themselves, leading to long-term psychological distress. Verbal abuse, the use of harsh, demeaning language to criticize and insult the partner in front of others, is a form of verbal abuse. It involves degrading remarks that can have lasting emotional impacts. Okay, public humiliation is the fourth. Broadcasting private issues and insults to a public audience adds an extra layer of harm, as it exposes the partner to societal judgment and ridicule, which can be deeply traumatizing, and likely this has life-lasting effects. Okay, for the foreseeable future, every time they take to social media or even in public, people are going to be judging them by this thing, criticizing them by this thing that you're saying right now in this moment, because you're upset. But let me ask you a question. Why lie about the dynamic of your relationship? As I watched this video, I'm thinking, okay, she came out here and paraded that he paid for the Range Rover. He kind of took her out of a place and then lifted her up, right? That he supported her and provided for her. But now we're hearing that that's not the case, that it was her the entire time. Okay, so anyway, societal pressure is another reason people would lie like this. There's often societal pressure to present a perfect relationship, especially on social media. People may feel the need to conform to idealized standards of success and happiness, leading them to portray their relationships in a falsely positive light. But then it can come from also personal insecurities. The woman may have insecurities, or whoever's doing this may have insecurities about their relationship or social status, and feel compelled to present an image of being fully taken care of to gain validation from others. A man may present that he's fully taking care of others to gain validation, even when he is not. Okay? I don't see why you can't just present the truth that you guys are building together. If you don't have it, you don't have it. If you guys have love, you guys are working together, you're not contentious, you listen to each other, you have what most people don't have, and those things are priceless. I don't know why we are so superficial. We got to brag about what we have and what we got. It's unreal. Anyway, control and manipulation is another reason someone would do this. Publicly parading a partner and then tearing them down can be a way to exert control and manipulation or manipulate perceptions of them. Initially, showing off your partner may have been a way to demonstrate control, and later criticizing him may publicly serve to reinforce that control by diminishing his perceived value. Sort of like, I gave it to you, I can take it away, right? I'm the one that built you up, I'm the one that can destroy you. And you hear people say this all the time. I've been pointing to this and pointing to this, so now when they walk away from it, they got to tear it down. And often women, this is how women fight, okay? When they're upset, they tend to try and tear everything down. And I always say to men, she's fighting. You have to understand what's happening right now. She's not upset. She's not arguing with you. She's fighting. This is how they fight, okay? It's not going to be a physical thing in most cases because she knows she can't manhandle you. So she's going to do this in her own way. And typically it's passive aggressive, and it's going to be with words, okay? Demeaning, insults, and things of that nature. Stripping you of your manhood, emasculating you, things of that nature, family. But it could also be attention seeking, just moving on. Some individuals might resort to dramatic actions for attention and validation from their audience. Going live with such accusations can generate significant attention, even if it's negative. So in one case, it's like he rescued me. He took me from this rough place and he put me in this high place. That's emotional validation because it presents herself to be a soft lady being taken care of. But then there's this thing about women and being a victim, that they riding a wave when they be a victim. It seemed like they almost enjoy it. And so now she gets to play the victim role. Well, actually, here's what was happening. I was taking care of you, which makes her a victim, right? But he's not a victim when he's taking care of her and taking her from a low place. But hey, she is. When I met you, you didn't have nothing. I'm the one that paid for this. I'm the one that paid for that. What are you saying here? So what's your point, right? You paid for it, right? If you paid for it, hush your mouth. You're the one that told him that he paid for it. That's all on you. So you're a liar. Do you understand? Why should we feel sad for you because you bought a Range Rover? We didn't feel sad for him when he bought one. What are we doing here? This is a world where people ask for equality, but look at how they treat us. Look at how they bias. Consequences of publicly shaming your partner. Damage to trust and intimacy. Trust is foundational in any relationship. Publicly shaming your partner can severely damage the trust and intimacy between them, making it difficult to repair your relationship. Reputation damage. Both partners' reputation can suffer. The husband's reputation is tarnished by the public's accusations, while the woman's reputation may be damaged by her abusive behavior. Now check this out, emotional trauma. I mean, the partner being shamed can experience significant emotional trauma leading to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. This could even manifest as very violent behavior down the road. So in this interview with Tasha K, she keeps bragging about how he's taking this well and how they're both like delusional because it's like he's not sweating it. Well, this stuff can build up, family. Some people are very implosive, and some people are explosive, right? So if you are implosive, there's this chance that you could implode with all this past stuff, and that's what she's being right now, implosive. That's why she's saying, you did this, you did that, and you didn't pay for this, you didn't pay for that, and you didn't take care of your kids, you didn't do that, and you didn't. All of it's coming up at once, right? Almost like a regurgitation, right? Relationship breakdown. It breaks the relationship down, of course. Such public displays of conflict can lead to a breakdown of your relationship, as it creates an environment of hostility and resentment that is hard to recover from. Why pretend to be completely taken care of? Cultural expectations. In many cultures, there's an expectation on what a man should do and how he should be the primary provider. Women may feel pressure to show that they are being taken care of to fit into these cultural norms. Number two, fear judgment. Admitting that a relationship involves financial or other struggles can lead to a judgment from others. Pretending to be well taken care of can be a defense mechanism against such judgments. And that's facts. If a woman says, me and my husband working together, we don't have it like that, we both put in work, they'll say, girl, you need to go get you a better man, right? But anyway, desire for approval. People often seek approval and validation from their social circles and their peers. Showing off is a seemingly perfect relationship can garner positive attention and approval. Power dynamics. Presenting an ideal relationship can sometimes be a way to maintain a power dynamic, and where the woman might want to appear as if she has everything under control. The bottom line is, family, be honest about what you got going on. But let's move forward to this interview with her and Tasha K. This is going to be good.
So you said you know they black men are trash statistically, and the white man that you put up
No,
threw him out there with them niggas. So you taking
hold
it
on.
back?
That's what we're not gonna do though, because
You
I
taking it
never
back?
said the Kings were trash. I never said that.
You
I
taking it
said the
back?
statistics are not
Mm-hmm.
okay. I ain't
Okay.
said it was trash. I never said that. I would
I mean,
never
there's
say
a
that.
lot of bad, ratchet black women too.
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And there's also
yes,
a lot of
there are. Unfortunately, all these the crab in a bucket mentality. I get it the most from women that look like me. Yes,
uh-huh.
there are.
And there's also I could lip gloss too. There's also hold on. Yes, we lip gloss. And there's also statistic toxic black wives and black mothers as well too. Who are
No, I'm not. No,
raising black sons with a preference.
No, we're not raising black sons with a preference. I don't speak about like this is better or that's better in my household to my sons at all. Like at all. They don't. No.
You don't
We
think they're
don't do
gonna
that.
watch your videos one day?
No, I don't think they're gonna be like interested to like go back and watch stuff regarding like I don't speak that much on race, Tasha. I really don't. Like I get that I do it here and there, but I don't like every video is not about race, honey child.
So, Rose, you think you would have built the audience that you built without parading the biracial relationship in front of the world? You think that's why we think we was following you? I mean, you are a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong. Brett, in my opinion, he okay. I done seen white men that look better. I'm just saying. And I know that's your
Girl,
husband.
my man is fine.
Child.
So I want to say this. I like how Tasha K called out her fidgeting with the lip gloss. She does this over and over. This is probably like a nervous tick. She's probably what you would call like kind of massaging yourself or trying to self-soothe. And I can understand how this could be nervous. Tasha K has a humongous platform. She has a huge personality. She is a known, very well known personality. What you say on this platform could make or break you. Let's be real. So I give her the benefit of the doubt for being nervous here, but also liars do this. And so Tasha K was really showing, she's really pointing out that she's fidgeting. That's good. She's asking great questions about how she built her platform and, just the angles that she took to build her platform. And it's very true. If you didn't parade your relationship in such a way, you wouldn't build your page to this size without trolling and doing such things. But one thing I don't agree with here is that she's now going into herself to demean Rose's husband. And the problem is, what I see is how often men get denigrated and abused this way online. And because he's white, I believe we're missing it a little bit. Now, I get the point of why we're talking about race here because Rose did use it as an angle. But when Tasha K starts saying that the man is just okay, she's seen better looking white men, and when Rose defends her husband, Tasha K's kind of being, off-putting about that. And I just think that, okay, you're speaking on her abuse and her behavior, but you're also, in a way, chopping him down, which it's not right either, right? And this may happen a couple of times, and I'll call it out when it happens again. It's just, no, we just need to set her straight on the things that she's doing and not trying to demean him at all, okay? I can understand how it got there, but this is not right either, right? Let's continue.
Child.
My white savior, baby.
All I'm saying is, do you think personally we would have followed you had you would have not been race baiting?
Yeah, I do. I think I do.
What would we have?
Now, right there, she subconsciously agrees that she race baits. Now, she'll try and disagree with this later on, but the way Tasha posed this question already got what she needed to know out of her, and that's key as an interviewer. Sometimes when you ask a person something direct, they will deny it. But if you ask them these same questions, or not the same questions, but if you ask them a question in a different roundabout way, you can get the truth out of them because they're not realizing they're exposing themselves. So that was a perfect way that she asked that question. Do you think you could have built your platform the same way you built it if you were not race baiting, right? And she said, yes. She didn't say, wait a second, I'm not race baiting, right? Let's continue.
Oh, tell us. What
Girl,
is it about you that's
the
that's
Queen
worth
Rose.
following?
The Queen Rose. I'm just outspoken. I'm blunt. I'm real. I'm raw.
What if the role
Now, right here, she says the Queen Rose. The thing is, I'm just outspoken, I'm blunt, I'm raw. These may be qualities that work well on social media. They may be qualities that work well if you're in a profession, certain professions, like say a comedian and things like that. But this does not work well in a family dynamic where you have to listen, respond effectively, hear what the other person is saying. You being loud and blunt and all this type of stuff is only gonna, I mean, honest, these are negative traits when you're trying to use them with your partner. You understand? And unfortunately, these are things that a lot of women find to be a compliment to themselves. It's not a compliment that you're blunt and rude and things like that. And you tell it like it is. And no, you're supposed to be soft. Tell it, say what you have to say, but there has to be a way that you present that. And you got to understand that, because you guys are constantly criticizing the man's tone when he's trying to explain something. So you also have to have tone if you want someone to receive you, right? So while those are great qualities for certain professions, it's not for a husband or a wife to use these qualities in their relationship, right? It'll only break down that person. Let's continue.
reverse? What if he, being a white man, would have uploaded a video telling you how sorry of a black woman you were and how you didn't contribute? What if he were to publicly say that about you
I'm not
in a
sure
video
because
when it goes ultra viral?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know, like it's like, what if he would have did that? I mean, we're married, so I would have been mad, and then got unmad, and then we would have continued our marriage, our relationship, because we're literally like married. Like, it's not my boyfriend, we're married. But like, what if he did that? At what level of hurt would I have been? I'm not sure, because I'm not in the I have to be in the predicament to know what I would do.
So you don't have empathy.
Empathy for what? Yeah.
Like, to be able to empathize with someone even though you've never experienced that. So the reason,
Absolutely. I have.
do you
Yeah.
lack empathy?
No, I'm actually literally an empath. Like, if you started crying about something right now, I'm overly emotional person where I'm gonna start. And that's the thing. That's where the little argument was with me being.
No. She's going to try and act like that's where the argument came because she was overly emotional from her mother. But I want to deal with this. So Tasha K says, how would you feel if he did this to you? This is a great question. Often this gives someone perspective. But when someone has this type of real avoidance type spirit, they're just not going to admit these things. They're going to say whatever releases them from having to answer that question, because the goal is to just play dumb and pretend you don't get it. That way you don't have to take full accountability for what you've done. So she says that she cannot she cannot put herself in someone's shoes. She has to actually be in a situation to know how she'd feel. She says, so you lack empathy. Well, no, I'm very empathic. If I see someone crying, I'll cry. There's two different types of empathy, family. So there's cognitive empathy. This is the ability to understand what someone feels, someone else feels. And this is what Tasha K is referring to. This person might struggle with, so this person might struggle with this type of empathy in real life situations, needing personal experience to truly grasp others' feelings. So what she lacks is cognitive empathy. What she has is emotional empathy. This is the capacity to physically feel the emotions of another person. Crying during movies, crying when you see someone else cry, indicates that they have strong emotional empathy as they are moved by the portrayed emotions and situations. Okay, this is also something that's scary because people who have high emotional empathy can be easily manipulated. Okay, cognitive empathy is a very useful tool. Being able to put yourself in someone's shoes can help you assess their response, if it was a rational response, if they are overreacting to something, and even how you might feel if this were to happen to you, so you can understand and give grace to their responses. Okay, sometimes people respond in the worst way to trauma and pain. Understanding what they may have been going through when they reacted that way is life and death. I'm serious, guys. In most cases, people discount what you're going through and just say what you did. Okay, so she wants us to now think about how she was feeling when she was being abusive. But the fact is, she's not understanding that she was being abusive, and the fact that she lacks cognitive reality is likely why she's having this issue here. Okay, all right, let's continue.
overly emotional about my mom, overly emotional about the way my husband was just going in and not being able to, so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna, troll him and troll the trolls. It really was not for.
See, Tasha's calling it out right here. Troll him. So she just called it trolling. No, you were abusive to him. You were abusing him while he was holding your baby. Listen, family, you got to understand this. How are your children going to think? Are your children going to know that it's not okay to talk to someone this way if that's how she talks to him? How are they going to respect him if she don't? If you can talk to him this way while he's holding the children, that obviously means they're there to hear it, right? So you're going to distort their worldview, and they're likely going to recreate this in their lives, believing this is how you respond when you're upset. It's not trolling, and you got to stop calling it that if you really want to grow. And I can guarantee you, your husband, it feels like you're invalidating, that you trying to make light of the situation every time you call this trolling. That's not trolling. You are abusing him. If a man go live and put a camera on his wife while she's holding the baby saying, you wasn't nothing when I met you. You was living in the basement when I met you. I paid for everything. You ain't never paid for nothing. You don't even take care of your kids. I had to tell you to go get your kid. That ain't trolling. That's abusive. And then now she said, I'm trolling my followers. Like, you got mad, so you got mad at your husband, so you decided to troll your husband and your followers. Shows what little respect you have for your followers and subscribers too, in the heat of anger. And this is why I say, get my book, Emotional Terrorizer. In a moment of anger, man, all respect, all thought for the future, all understanding of consequences go out the window. You're possessed with anger. This demon takes over, and what you left with after the damn tornado, after the Tasmanian devil tore through your house, and everything you ever tried to build, like your social media page, who's left standing there? You, to go through all those consequences, and you cannot avoid those consequences. But what you're doing is you're making excuses. Not good, because that means you're doomed to repeat it, right? Accept that you abused this man. Stop calling it trolling. Stop trying to make light of it. Let's continue.
Troll your savior, and you paraded him and how great he is as a partner and a lover to the world.
Right. And he still is that. He literally still is that. The thing is, like, we are.
Now you want the world to believe he's still that after you just stripped him of that. So when people say no, I believe all that is true about him, and you just stand in this situation. Your situation just ain't as good as you painted it. I believe everything is true about him. You're not gonna like it, and that's also something that he's gonna have to deal with because you did this, and you calling it trolling. It's crazy. Let's continue.
I know a lot of people really love to live in like a fairy tale world. It's like, oh my goodness, they're a good, healthy couple. So like, they don't argue at all. Everyone does argue. Sure, my argument, it got super viral where that was not like the goal.
See, this is the problem. This was not arguing. This was a fight. You went online to publicly downgrade this man, okay? To speak ill of him, his past, ruin his reputation. And now you're calling this an argument. And every family, every couple argues. No, they don't. Every couple don't abuse each other like this. They don't. You abuse this man, and now you want to call it an argument. So every attempt, when she goes to explain it, she's not calling it what it is. Do you understand? She's calling it an argument now. I went from trolling to now this is an argument. Was you trolling him or was you arguing with him? So it was real, right? This argument was real, or was it trolling? See how this works? So now we got two different answers here. One is an argument, one is that it's trolling, which is entirely two different things, right? But the truth is, it was abuse. It's abuse. If a man said, you wasn't shit when I met you, you ain't never paid for nothing, you was living in a basement on somebody else's dime at 32 years old when I met you, you ain't nothing. Is that an argument, or is he abusing her? Let's be real, family. Let's continue.
Well, that's not where it's supposed to, what was supposed
to say this. An argument is when both of you guys have a way you feel about something. You present your perspective of it, they present theirs. And if that gets heated, as long as you guys remaining on topic about this disagreement you guys are having, you can call that an argument. But when you start saying, you did this and you did that, and you didn't take care of this, and when I met you, you wasn't, you're no longer having an argument, an exchange of differences of an opinion. You guys are having an exchange of insults, denigration, beating each other down. That's what's happening now. Right? And that's a fight, family. You're having a fight. Let's continue.
But
I think everyone knows that relationships have arguments, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I've been married 18 years. You can't find one video, one text message, one email of me disrespecting and emasculating my husband before the public because I'm mad at my mom. And I had a very toxic relationship with my mother for 15 years of my marriage. We just recently got on the same page. I had more than enough triggers to be able to upload when my husband or when somebody does something to me, and then I can take it out on him. But for me to say purposely upload, go live, don't act like I didn't do this. Don't act like you don't do this. Don't act like I didn't buy my car and put the bow on it. But you paraded it as if he gave you these gifts.
I didn't buy he did. He did. And that's the thing. That's what I said. I was an emotional woman and I was talking shit. So for my husband,
She totally missed the point. Professional point missing. Tasha K says, out of 18 years, I have never done this. Even if I was upset with my mother, you're implosive. You're taking anger that you have for someone else and you're putting it on him. That you're an abuser. If he had an issue with his mom and he was coming home and beating you up with his words because he has an issue with his mom, he's still abusive. He's been abusive to you, and for something you didn't do. Understand? And so that's what she just admitted to do. When Tasha K tries to expose this to her, completely went over her head. Okay, wow. Shout out to Tasha K too. I've actually met Tasha K, did an interview on her channel. Sat and ate with her. Me and my wives ate with her. She talked to me about some of her past relationships and some of the things that she's learned along the way. I did my thing where I would call her out on some of the things that she did in the past, and guess what she would do? Be 100% accountable to it. And this is why her new relationship, her relationship with her husband, not a new relationship, but her 18-year relationship is so solid, because she learned from her past and she does not do this to her man now. So shout out to Tasha K. So I understand exactly what she's saying, yo. Be accountable, right? Let's continue.
we're both delusional together because he's not really like tripping at all. So I'm gonna be.
I know he ain't tripping. Most men don't sweat
He's
the
not
stuff.
like he really.
But
See, I gotta stop it here because she's saying, look, maybe we're both delusional because he's not really tripping. And she's saying that as if his response to it or how he sees what she did is in the indication that she's not an abuser or that it really wasn't that bad of a situation. Tasha K says, well, it's true. Most men don't really sweat the small stuff. But listen, this ain't small stuff. Ask any man, is this small stuff? Your wife going on social media and destroying your image like this. It's not small stuff. So he may be reacting to it passive, but that doesn't mean it's small stuff. And it's sad that you need his reaction to be a horrible reaction for you to know what you did was horrible. You're supposed to be able to self-reflect and realize what you did is completely wrong. You just denigrated your children's father, the man who's playing stepfather to your other children. You just destroyed this man on social media, and you saying because he's not looking at it like it's a big deal, then it's okay. Okay, think about those women who are in abusive relationships, right? They make every excuse for why this man put his hands on them. Every excuse for why he's verbally abusive. Does that mean that he's not verbally abusive and that he didn't put their hands on him, that the consequences are not still there? Her life is potentially still on the line because he's putting his hands on her. Those interactions could have cost her life. Could have caused the children to be able to witness this abuse, traumatize them. All these things still true, even though she's putting up with that crap, making excuses for it. He just don't understand. He's having a tough time right now. He's trying his best. He just, nobody's perfect, and she's making all these excuses for him, right? Does that mean that what he's doing is not that bad? No. Another level of delusion right here. But let's continue.
So I do love that for you, that you can't find any of that on you in 18 years. I love that for you. And I love how long you've been married. I love it.
Well, it's because I intentionally don't do it. I intentionally do not disrespect or emasculate my man before anybody. He can't even say that I've said that around friends. So for you to take to the internet where you make your money, both of y'all make money off the internet. Make no mistake. So when you was like, don't act like my money didn't put money down on this house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that he over there, his face in the camera, that's his money.
Now she over talks. As soon as you're about to make a solid point, that's what they'll do. Over talk and try to act like they agree with you. No, she was setting you straight. You actually thought you was making the bread all on your own. And that's likely why you got all this harsh judgment for the brother. You need to see the whole picture that it's all of y'all putting in on this. All right, let's continue.
The
I
whole
mean,
like super.
Eminem cussed out his baby mama. She was white. He called her a bitch and
No.
cracker
We
bitch
gotta
and
understand.
everything.
We have to understand. There's
Okay.
absolutely deadbeat white people. Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. Okay.
Of
Okay. Okay.
course.
With
What
you.
are we talking about?
Okay.
Just like there's absolutely amazing black and white married couples. Of course.
Mhm.
I speak on things as a whole, you know, like the numbers, Tasha. And I believe deep down, I believe that you know this. Like,
Mhm.
rather you agree with me personally,
Mhm.
that's one thing, but I believe that you know that there is a disparity in the marriage rates amongst black women for a reason. And I believe that you know that as a whole, black men can do better at taking care of our families.
And so
And
can black women because they're toxic black.
See, she's doing it now. As a whole, black men can do better. Tasha K has to interrupt and say, and so can black women, but men and women in general, Rose, and this is the part that you're forgetting, that you're not understanding why it looks like race baiting. You're dating a white guy, and your messages are that black men need to do better, right? And that's not to say that black men don't need to do better, but from where you sit, it looks like race baiting. It looks like you're trying to compare because you're not shedding light on the fact that white men need to do better too. And from my knowledge, statistically, black men are the best fathers. I'm going to do more research now that I'm looking at this because they don't seem to know this. Maybe it's just something I've been hearing online because I have yet to look this up for myself. So I'm going to look this up for myself, but I'm hearing that statistically, black men are the best with their children. They put the most time in, they're the most connected to their children, from personal time and everything. So maybe that's a incorrect stat, but I'll look that up. But if that's true, then you keep saying that black men need to do better and step up. It sounds like you just need to do better about choosing the black man that you're going to have as your husband, right? Because it's indicating that there are some black men out here who would make great fathers. It's not as problematic as you're making it sound. But let's continue.
Here that are just as equally as bad as black men. I'm
of
just
course,
very
yeah.
pragmatic across the board. And
Yeah.
I don't, if I'm going to call out a problem like I do it amongst light-skinned women, right? Light-skinned women have a privilege, right? And when I see them settle, I challenge them on making better decisions. Like, you do not have to be this pretty girl privilege doesn't have to be your downfall. You understand what I'm saying? And so I always try to find a way to praise them while not beating them down, right? By
Mhm.
letting them know their value. But when you have someone online who makes content directed at pissing off black men by parading your relationship as better, and if more black women just stepped outside of the box to date, they would find better. And it's not the case because a lot of black women have issues that they're carrying from black men or from their fathers who have multiple children. And there's no way you could sit here and tell me your daddy was all the way deaf for you with 16 damn children. There's just no way.
My daddy
Okay.
handled his. He wasn't, you know, he
Right.
did.
So
He was a.
you have issues that you come with, and so do black men. So just like you have issues that you still have not dealt with, so do black men. But for you to expect to say, hey, you need to get your shit together or I'm going over here, that's another way for you to run from your own issues too, because it took two to create those kids.
It's not about you have issues. I'm going over here. Like I said in the beginning,
Yeah,
we
that's what you
didn't.
did.
No, no,
You
no.
literally left the black community based on statistics and your own
No, no, no,
issues
no. I
and brought that
actually left the
bullshit
black
into an
community.
interracial relationship, and you cussing him out the same way you cussed out your black baby daddy.
Now that's a great point. All the stuff about, like I said, the white man and the black man and why her choices, I don't care either way. All I care about is stop destroying your relationships, family. I don't care what the person you dating look like. I don't care why you went over there. Who cares? All that matters to me is that you work well within the relationships that you in. Your experience could have told you something. Maybe at that time you said, you know what, I'm done with black men. That's perfectly fine. People do that. They make these broad declarations in moments of distress and pain, but you should start to see now that you're a bit of an issue as well, even if you haven't saw that in the past. The fact that you're treating this man the exact same way, as you've treated other men, regardless of their race, you should now have an understanding. The fact that you guys have had hiccups in your relationships, if the things you were saying about him were true, you now know that white men is not perfect parents either, right? As you are pointing out things in his parenting that indicate he's a bad parent, right? So if you didn't know then, you know now, right? But let's continue.
Just because he's in a white
I
cell.
love that we're trying to make one argument the staple of a relationship. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
No, these are your.
That's all it takes is one abusive exposure like that for people to see your whole relationship in a way. So she hates that. I love how we're taking one argument and shaping out a whole relationship. Listen, you should have thought about that before you went to social media with that one argument. Yeah, you're going to spend the rest of your life, as long as you're in this relationship, trying to clean that up. This is the cost of it. And this is why men hate it. This is why anybody would hate this. Okay? It's abuse. It's just like if you can have a great relationship. You hit her one time, you change the future of that relationship. She's now going to be traumatized, timid, scared of you, walk on eggshells, and she can't prevent none of this stuff. You're going to be looking at a victim for the rest of your life trying to fix what you did. Hey. Now you're in those shoes because it was abuse. And that's why people are giving you such a hard time about it, but you keep calling it trolling and an argument. You're not grasping it. Let's continue.
People can believe or feel how they want to feel about that. But did I run from black men because of whatever? No, I found my husband. Like I said,
you would probably prefer to be with a black man, and that's why you're angry. And I find that
I would not. I don't
black
desire
men,
it.
yeah.
Okay, that's not true. I'm going to take a pause here. We're going to go to an earlier part of the interview, and we're going to hear her completely admit that this is that she chose this because it was because of her experiences, okay? And that she does actually prefer black men. This is crazy how in the same interview she's changing this up. Let's go. Earlier on, let's go.
Black women, like, nah, I don't want to be with no black women because they ugly and they this and that, that would be different. But preference, it's just preference.
Okay. But your preference is based off of bad experiences with black men.
No, my preference is based off of factual statistics. Yeah. So like would I, knowing that we're the least and knowing, yeah, would I just wouldn't want to, especially at my age, waste my time dating someone that I know probably likely is not, going to take me anywhere farther than the date. So
is it fair to say that if black men were doing better, they could easily become your preference again?
Absolutely, yeah. Like if statistics were, if our mindset changed as a whole, absolutely. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bam. So now she admitted here that it's not based on my experience. It's based on whatever stats she's looking up that caused her to say, hey, I'm going to not choose black men. But this is her admitting, though, that her preference would be black men if she didn't see these statistics that she's talking about. I'd like to see them because I've always heard that. I've recently heard that black men make the greatest fathers statistically. So I have to look that up. Let me know in the comments if that's true. I will look that up too. But as you can see, she was disagreeing with this earlier, that black men were actually her preference. But now she's admitting it. If black men were not statistically, but see, this is a great way that Tasha asked this question. It got a whole different answer, you see. But let's get back to the original interview. Let's go.
But
you don't desire it. So you're dating white men by default because of how black men have treated you.
Not how black men have treated you, but the stats. Remember, Tasha. But let's see if she corrects you and say no, it's because of the stats, or if she just disagrees. Let's go.
I'm not ugly. I don't have a problem.
I'm saying nothing about you being ugly. I'm saying that
I know you're not.
Black
so
man,
I'm 29. I'm not ugly. My options are available. Like I'm not dating.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You may not be ugly, but your attitude and how you gave your husband that business to the world is very ugly. So you can be beautiful,
of course,
and there are a lot.
Okay, you see how she overtalks when Tasha is doing what I call pinning her down. She's calling her on the issue. She's now got to the issue. She's about to highlight it. And as soon as she starts talking, this person is so unaccountable. Okay, they lack accountability to the point that they don't want to even hear it. They don't want it to be said publicly, so they'll just start over talking you to keep you from telling them about themselves. This keeps them stuck in their old ways because they should just let you say it regardless of the pain. You know, let them rip that band-aid off, okay? You say you're direct and all this type of stuff, but it seems that you avoid when somebody's going to keep it blunt with you, right? That's crazy. Let's continue.
Black women that are 1,000. Fuck a 10, they're 1,000. But they ugly and tainted on the inside based off of them not dealing with their own experiences. Black women have a problem thinking that men are supposed to save them. You save yourself. Once you save yourself, you will attract men from all races, just as I do. I could go into Africa, I could go in America, I could go into Asia and attract any type of man. But for me to isolate my feelings towards one race and I'm raising a black son,
it's so interesting that you think that, though, when I literally just told you that my idea is to have women expand their horizons. I was never looking for a white man when I found him. I was actually with a Filipino guy. Actually, at the exact time.
But you found him.
So either way, she was walking away from black men based on statistics. So she was going to look for a non-black man based on statistics. And she already said that if black men weren't statistically bad, based on her research, that she would still be with black men or prefer black men. So the point has already been made, but let's continue.
I was with the Filipino time at the exact Filipino man at the exact time that I got with my husband, and a black man before that. So I wasn't looking for white men only. I got with one, and now it is my preference. It wasn't before when I found him. Now it is my preference. So it's just preference. Like I don't feel like it's like, oh, you're like stop dating completely. No, it's just my preference, and that's like 100%. Is your preference black men?
My preference are all men.
Oh, okay, mine too. And so I love that for you, and that's what I'm
but here's the thing: I don't need to put down a black man to put up one. You literally put down black men to put up your white husband.
And when did I do that?
Cuss him out. Because your attitude, I'm gonna be honest with you, is the reason why a lot of black men don't want to be fucked up with us, right? You're giving that same attitude that black men complain about to a white man. And you're saying, oh, because he takes it, because he's more meek than a black man, because he appears stronger than a black man, then he must be better than a black man. It's no different than a black man that lays up with Becky and says that, oh, black women that is.
Not because of his race.
See, she's making another great point, and she's going to overtalk her, right? So you're judging these men's temperament, their ability to handle disrespect in the moment. Where a black man is going to be more confrontational if you do that, if you disrespect him. So, I mean, we're getting disrespected at every turn. So we know disrespect when we see it. You can't fool us, and we're going to call you on it. I guess that makes us seem more aggressive. But because he doesn't handle it in that way, she's instantly thinking that, well, he's passive. He don't take it like that. When he hit his limit, you're going to have hell to pay, okay? Because people who are impulsive like she is, they tend to dish out the worst treatments after all this stuff is built up. You understand? So I would say you should prefer the person that calls it out when it happens and not let it build up and all of a sudden they're bringing you back all these things you did, some of the things you don't even remember, but hey, they got a good memory of this. It just sounds like a, judge, jury, executioner thing, because now they're telling you all about yourself and you can't really answer to it because it's old and half the time they're not telling it right. It's unreal, all right? But let's continue.
My man is better than any man of any race because he's my husband. But honestly, what I want to say to you is,
go ahead.
She did everything she could to stop Tasha K from giving her that truth. But let's continue. Let's see what she has to say.
What I want to say to you is, like I said, this isn't about when did I bash? May you
girl, you bashing your videos all the time. I look at your comments.
Where's the example of me of me?
I can pull.
Go ahead.
Girl, do you want me to pull would you like to see the receipts of you?
I would like to see
praising your white husband to piss off black men because black men did you wrong.
If black men are pissed off, Tasha, they need to do better. Okay, if they're pissed off,
what about you doing? It takes a black man and a black woman to do
my
better.
videos are not about pissing off black men at all whatsoever. I would like to see. Listen, I'm calm, but I would like to see a video where I was actually talk down and talk shit on the black men. I don't
No,
get it.
you black fathers need to do, black men need to do better. I don't ever see you saying white men need to do better. White men need to be better fathers. I don't ever see you saying that. In your titles is black men, bad fathers, black men, bad husbands, black men.
That's
You don't
not
say
true,
that about white
Tasha.
men. And you've only had one.
She's done it this exact video. She's done it in this interview. Black men need to do better. And then Tasha said, black women do too. So she's already done that in this interview. But again, professional point misser. Let's continue. They act like if they missed a point, it ain't true, right? If they don't admit to it, that it's not true. And people like that. They just don't grow in life, family. Okay? And they're very difficult to talk to. You can see Tasha's getting frustrated with talking to her. Let's go.
I think that you're speaking on what you hear from your commenters.
Farmer white man who has a fetish for black women.
See, right there. Tasha, that's not cool. She's already destroying the man. Don't help her out. Now you're already jumping to he has a fetish. There is no substantial evidence that proves he has a fetish. And if he did, what's the point? He's married to this woman. He's giving her 2 babies. He's playing stepfather. So what if he has a fetish for the woman that he's with? I mean, what's the point? But I get it. She's making these points, and potentially he may have one, but we can't prove that. So don't help her chop this man down. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Let's continue.
How do you figure
he has a fetish for
How
black
do you figure
women?
he has a fetish? Why would you say that? How do you figure that?
Fetish for white men based off of your experiences. You're no different than a black man who parades Blasian women or Persian women or white women and say, oh, the reason I'm with you is because a black woman doesn't do this, when they in reality would prefer to be with a black woman, but we're not seeing eye to eye because we have these made up facades of what we think relationships are. When you're in an ideal relationship, that would eventually be the same if you were in it with a black man. A black man would be very regular. He may make 6 figures. He may not be an entrepreneur. He may not be on the go-go all the time like that. But because he's black, he's expected to do more than what a farmer from Iowa is doing, and he's white, but you give him a pass because he's white. But if it was a black man,
husband does a lot. My husband is there for his family. Like I said, he makes 6 figures. But what I would like to know is, respectfully, what would make you don't even know him from a can of paint? What would make you
I know what you put out about him, girl, and nobody's really
what would make you
like
automatically assume that he has a fetish?
Most white men do. Okay. That's why they intentionally divided the races, because our women to them looked more desirable than their women.
So that's the thing.
So they fucked us and left us with biracial kids.
See, I get what she's saying, but that's not a reason to say he has a fetish, because you say, well, most white men do. That's unsubstantial. Saying most, that we don't know that. However, there are some people, period, who have fetishes over different races and different body types or whatever. They see it as novelty. That part is true, but we can't say that he is like that. But she did say why she said that, because she says, in her opinion, most men do. So she did say why she said it. It's just not a good enough reason to say that he does have a fetish, okay? Let's continue.
The thing, when black people see an interracial couple, they automatically...
And did the same shit black men are doing now. They did it to the slaves. They was fucking the slave women, left them with babies they didn't claim, didn't leave them no damn land or nothing like that, didn't leave them no assets, and left bastard babies too. And how dare you get up on a platform and say black men need to do better when they learned a book from the white man, the very cracker you sleeping with right now. Bye.
Wow. And then she walks off and just leaves us sitting there. I think all in all it was a great interview. I do think it got a little bit too much into the race factor of it, but the moral of the story is, hopefully Rose knows this, keep your problems on social media. You're going to create a problem that you're not going to be able to fix overnight, and I'm literally being sarcastic, like you're not ever going to be able to fix it. You understand? So your partner's broken, the reputation of your marriage is broken. And all the work that you've put into your marriage to build this reputation, to build the image of your relationship, you utterly destroyed with one video, okay? And you'll never get that back. And that's why it's so serious that you don't do that. And you best believe that Tasha K, just like many of us, that's like all of us, we butt heads in our relationships. We have issues, but she knows the consequences of it. And that's why she said, I would never go on social media and do this to my life partner, to the father of my children. We're going to get upset. You got to think, what were you doing before this internet? Because the internet is an option. It's an easy way to destroy this man's character. You're going for the low-hanging fruit instead of working through your problems. You're publicly making them known, and it doesn't help at all. It gets you some attention. It gets that person bashed. And what you're learning is, Rose, it gets you bashed, because while you're claiming to and believing that you're exposing someone else, you're always exposing yourself too. So all these things that you try to call him out on, you were with him through it all, which also shows your value. If you're saying that he has no value because he was broke, living in a basement, didn't take care of his children, the fact that you got with this broke man living in a basement, not taking care of his children, abusive in his past relationships, putting holes in doors, you're standing with all this stuff now. And then whenever it comes to an end, it's, let me call it out. Yo, you got some accountability in this too. So you're literally saying you chose this again. And after you chose it, you lied and acted like he rescued you. He paid for everything. He's the one who got his stuff together. Or well, you're saying that you lying now when you say that. Either way, you come off as untrustworthy. So whether you were lying in the past or you choose to lie right now, I mean, if you just think about this. Say he bought the Range Rover. Say he's been taking care of you, taking care of your children, doing all these things that you acted like he was doing, okay? Now, on camera, you're going to tell him that he doesn't. You're going to tell him he's a bad parent. You're going to talk about the time that he spanked the child and make him sound aggressive. You think that he's making light of this, like it's not a big deal to him? Come on now, think about this. You're telling the world the opposite of what he's been doing. You literally took everything. If he actually put in this work, you literally stripped it all from him, pretended he wasn't actually doing it, and actually he's a bad parent. Think about what you're doing. You cannot say this is just trolling. You cannot say it's just a mere argument, and you cannot make light of it by saying, well, he took it well. Please see what you're doing. Please see what you've done and accept it. It's not to say you can't move forward. It means you can move forward if you accept it, and potentially you can move forward without recreating these same issues. But if you just sit here and keep on calling it trolling, argument, you was just mad at your mom, and keep making these excuses, this is probably not the end of it. All right? Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, boy, it's in that chaos that you find yourself. Peace, family.